What up, guys? The offensive madman Kyle Robinson coming to you today. And this video is going to be just a tad bit different because, well, we are playing ESO and not live streaming. What exactly does that mean? That means that yesterday, Elder Scrolls Online and ZeniMax Online Studios decided to reveal the next big story update coming to the Elder Scrolls Online universe. And there is a lot to unpack in this hour and a half long stream, but I'm going to save you the trouble today. So ride with the madman and let me sum up some of the bigger talking points from the ESO reveal stream that occurred yesterday. This video is going to get split into three parts. We're going to talk the main DLC, or the main expansion name, which is High Isle, first off. We're going to talk the first actual DLC pack and Update 33. Both of those are coming simultaneously from the sound of the live stream yesterday. I don't know if that's an accurate sentence or not. That's the understanding that I had. Last but not least, we'll do a little bit on one of the new mechanics called Trial of Tribute. And then there's going to be some odd and end things that don't really fit in any of those particular categories. We'll touch on those at the very end. So let's discuss the thing that everybody's most curious about. The brand new year-long adventure coming to Elder Scrolls Online, High Isle, and the Legacy of the Breton Adventure. High Isle is a location that, according to the lore master in the video and the creative director, has never been fully explored in any Elder Scrolls game ever. It was mentioned once on a map in Rivenspire, if I remember correctly. I'm not completely certain of that, but I do know that the location has never been explored in any Elder Scrolls game. And basically, this is the first time we're really kind of getting to dive deep into the Bretons' story and backlog, which I did not know this, but the Bretons are hybrids between high elves and humans. That's news to me. I did not know that. I fucking had no idea. So that's kind of a neat little concept. And I'm really excited that we're getting to explore this world with them. It's going to be a ton of fun. But let's break down things. I have my trusty notes here because, as we all know, I have the memory of a dying rat. The big selling point of this DLC is exploring the lore and backstory and history behind the Bretons. I believe it's pronounced Bretons. Someone's going to tell me that I'm wrong when they watch this video, I guarantee it. But I believe it was called the Bretons. And they're returning to their roots, their Elder Scrolls storytelling roots. The last few DLCs. Now, mind you, I say this as a guy that has just recently been caught up in the Elder Scrolls story, the Elder Scrolls backlog. But basically, the way that they talked, the last few DLCs have been Daedric invasions and things, kind of like we got with the last DLC, Blackwood. So they wanted to pull away from that and really settle into a story of subterfuge and political intrigue. So they picked this area, this Breton area, to kind of settle that story, which was kind of a good concept in my opinion, just because the look and the layout they put out there, and we'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a second, really lends itself to that. So this political intrigue and idea that they're going for it's a super good idea, I think. And I cannot wait to play the DLC story with the first DLC launch in March. So that's when it starts, is in March. So there's that first piece of information. So just something to be aware of is if you are looking to get into this, you have until March before they launch the year-long story. Just remember that. March 14th is when that first DLC launches, but we'll talk more about that in just a second. The location of High Isle is located southeast of Daggerfall and apparently north of Elsewire, if I remember that location remotely correctly. It is an oceanfront location, which is really cool. The visuals that they showed off in this are fucking amazing. In fact, I'll link the trailer, the cinematic trailer that they rolled out below. I can't really do a react because I have already seen it, but it's a really cool trailer that if you get the chance, check it out. The visuals are just stunning, and the way that they look in the pictures and things of that nature are great. High Isle is focused, like I said, on the Bretons. Basically, the Bretons are the high end of feudal society in Elder Scrolls. So they are the ones that they matter, basically, is the understanding that I was given by the way they talk. Because this High Isle is a resort of sorts, say that 10 times fast, that you get basically the wealthiest of the wealthy coming down here, and they focused it a lot around what they call like a feudal system in the old medieval times. So you're top of the top, and it kind of trickled its way down, if you will. The first thing that it mentioned is the structure and the setup. The way that they built this was really focused around like 1800s medieval Europe with castles and structures. And again, look at some of these pictures and you'll see what I'm talking about. Just the structures that they showed off in the reveal are phenomenal. Absolutely breathtaking. So I'm excited and to get in there and play around in some of these locations. I mentioned Bretons. I mentioned political intrigue. They gave a few hints as to what the story is going to contain. It's basically set up that the Ascendant Order is aiming to end the Three Banners War. You know, the same war that's been ticking around in Elder Scrolls Online since the day that it launched, or at least close thereafter. The Three Banners War, they're trying to put an end to it. As we all know, especially if you live in America, war can be profitable to the right people. And there is a secret society known as the Society of the Steadfast that are basically trying to stop these peace talks because they want to profit from the war. So you find yourself in the middle of this back and forth political story between the Society of the Steadfast and the Ascendant Order. And in High Isle, one of the locations that they mentioned by name, which is a menace, I believe that's how it was pronounced, is, I've got it spelled as a menace, probably not completely accurate. It's a criminal breeding ground, basically, on the Isle of High Isle, on the outskirts. That's going to be one of the hideouts for the Ascendant Order. One of the other things that they mentioned is kind of the boss, if you will. I'm assuming he is the big bad of the DLC story, and that is the Ascendant Lord, and then his general Ascendant Magnus. Now, they didn't get in a lot to how you're going to have your confrontations with either one of these guys, but they mentioned that the Ascendant Lord, or lords, because they did actually hint at that at one point, that there may be multiple Ascendant Lords, is kind of what you're on the lookout for. So there is a possibility that the Ascendant Lords are not the actual target. There is a chance that the Ascendant Lords are not the actual main bad guy, but that was what it was hinted around, that they kind of thought that was kind of be your main bad guy that we were going to be running into throughout the year as part of this High Isles expansion. That lays out High Isle for the most part, at least what we were given in short order. That sums it up so that you guys can be a little more prepared. Quick recap here. Story of political intrigue centered around the Three Banners War and either peace and or trying to keep the war going, set in a newly explored location to the Elder Scrolls universe, an oceanside retreat known as High Isle. So there's your recap. The main DLC part of High Isle is slated to arrive June 6th, I believe, is when it launches on PC, and June 21st is when it launches on console. As the Elder Scrolls have tended to do, they start, however, with a first piece of DLC, and they teased a lot of that first piece of DLC and update 33 coming with the Ascendant Tide update. The Ascendant Tide update is going to be bringing 2 new dungeons with it, both kind of telling their own independent story. He did mention a lot about secrets inside the dungeons. That DLC is slated to launch March 14th. So we're just over a couple months away. We also were told all of these things are coming to the PTS servers on Monday. So I am not privy to how to get into the PTS servers, but if you are an ESO player and know how or would like to get into the test server, your opportunity to try some of these new mechanics out are going to be coming as of Monday. So that's actually real quick. I'm real excited to see that they've already got this stuff laid out. It's ready. We really are already on the road to the next DLC. So that's cool. I'm glad to know that they are taking the due diligence to put it on the PTS server and get it ready to go. So more on this Ascendant Tide update. So the first dungeon that they previewed is a Ascendant Order hideout and is located, I believe it is in northern Somerset is where it was. They mentioned that there would be secrets that you could get and find, as well as other various nooks and crannies for lore and things of that nature that are going to be hidden in these 2 dungeons, and these 2 dungeons tell their story to set up for High Isle. So that's kind of par for the course for what ESO has seemingly done. The second dungeon that they previewed, I did get the name for. It is called Shipwright's Regret, and it is in Ravenspire, and it apparently is made up mostly of undead enemies, zombies, ghosts, things of that nature, undead pirates, if you will, as the name suggests. So that's all super cool. The dungeons that they laid out, I was real intrigued by and real excited with, because they actively looked like they were fun. So I'm excited to try them out and see what happens. They also mentioned, along with these dungeons, they brought in a coral style monster. A coral, I don't know why my voice keeps cracking. It's probably because I'm sick. But a coral style monster that looks really slick. It was really heavily featured in the first dungeon, so I'm thinking we're going to get some more of them throughout High Isle. They didn't really explain that or hint that that might be the case, but that's where I am thinking we're going to get and what we're going to see. They also announced that along with everything, they were going to bring in 3 new sets of armor with this DLC that you can get from the 2 dungeons and other activities, as well as 40 brand new achievements. 40 brand new achievements and 6 titles in the first DLC alone. So that's a fuckload of just new shit to earn if you are the completionist in this kind of game. 2 new things that I think are really fucking neat. First off, they are building on the companion system, and they are bringing in 2 companions. One of them is named Ember and is a spellcaster. One of them is named Isabel and is a Breton knight. Ember is a Khajiit magic companion, and you have the opportunity to earn both of those playing in the game. The fact that they're building on the companion system, people are wanting more out of the companion system. They talked about how people really liked the companion system. I myself love it. I will be the first to admit it. To see them adding more to the companion system is just, it's awesome. I'm very, very excited to see what they're doing, and I'm glad that that's what they're doing, and they're going that route with adding more stuff to it. Touching on the deconstructing assistant, it's another assistant that you can buy in the Crown Store. Basically, it is exactly what it sounds like. You are able to summon this thing, and it will allow you to deconstruct inventory for resources right there in the middle of the battlefield. So That's fucking neat. Like, that's a really cool thing. And it's shit like that they keep dropping. Then I'm like, man, I'm mad because I want these things and I just haven't dropped the money to pay for them yet. And I don't know that I will, but it's coming with update 33, which launches alongside the Ascendant Tides DLC in March. So that's all kind of cool. But they also explained what you get if you pre-purchase the DLC. First off, with the regular one, you receive with either one of them, you received a Pale Frost mount, a Pale Frost elk mount, and a little fawn pet. And I am going on record and saying that fucking pet is cool. He's cute. And I don't say that very often, but the pet is fucking cute. I dig the pet. I intend to try to get these pre-ordered. If you go with the deluxe edition, as always, the deluxe edition, or collector's edition as they refer to it, comes with the new pet, mounts, emote, set items. All these things are added within the the collector's edition of the DLC if you pick it up. The last couple of things to touch on here with High Isle and Update 33 is the new Overland activity, which is called Volcanic Vents, and it was compared to, say, a Dark Anchor, and the Dark Anchor ones are real familiar. You basically, it's a world event for those of you that don't know, and you are able to participate or not participate. My guess is one of the new 3 armor sets is found in that particular activity. Wouldn't surprise me. It's something that they do quite frequently, so I would expect something to come from that. I'm really interested to see these volcanic vents in action. I think that they're a really neat addition and just add more to the world for us to play in and play with. The last thing, and I forgot this, but the last thing, they did mention a new trial was coming. If you're a raid enthusiast, which I have not done the raids yet, but I want to. But this new trial is called Dread Sail. And if you notice, there is an oceanic piratey theme with everything. Dread Sail, they didn't detail a lot of that. They did say they were going to do a breakdown of that at a later date. So that's something to keep an eye out for. I'm genuinely interested to see what that looks like. I don't know much about the trial system. It's something I would like to learn about. But the fact that that is coming is cool. I'm excited for it. And I'm interested to see people's reaction to the trial, just because that's another thing that people can do and enjoy. The next thing we're going to discuss is the new system that ESO is adding with this particular update. The last couple of updates, Greymore brought the Antiquity system, Blackwood brought the Companion system, so ESO has gotten real in-depth with adding systems to their updates. This is no different, because this system, and I can't believe I'm actually about to say this, they are launching their own internal trading card game. I'm gonna let that process. They are launching their own strategy-based trading card game. Now, before you have like an uproar and lose your shit and get mad and think that they're trying to get you to buy cards, here's the lowdown on Trials of Tribute, the new internal system / trading card game coming to Elder Scrolls Online. Basically, it's going to have a ranking system and a single player system where you can play against people or play in taverns against NPCs and things of that nature. Everybody is going to have 4 starter decks that they get, and then they will earn other cards, upgradable cards, and other decks as they explore through the world. So my understanding is you're going to get these decks and these cards and these upgrades based on exploration and maybe dungeon drops. They didn't say that, but that's kind of what I could see them tying card drops into dungeon drops. So that'd be kind of cool. Not against it. Some of the things that you can earn: cosmetics, materials, transmute stones. All of these things are cool rewards that aren't necessary, but definitely add a neat appeal to the trading card element of ESO. They also stated that you can play the game anywhere that you want. So you could theoretically be running along. For example, you could run up to this guy who is currently changing into a fucking bear costume, apparently. Hold F to interact, and there's going to be a part of the menu here that will allow you to invite them to a game of Trials of Tribute. So that's kind of cool. They didn't really explain a whole lot of what it was, other than explaining that it is a resource management strategy card game. So it's not a combat-based card game like MTG or things like that. It's a strategy resource management game. That's really all they gave away, other than the fact that to keep things balanced, and I do like this part, to keep things balanced, they essentially, each player picks 2 decks that they have and puts them on the table. And then everything gets shuffled together and you draw your cards from this mixed pile. So it allows, if you've been playing for a hot minute, it allows you to have the option to have other cards. But when you play a brand new player, they're not going to get the fuck stomped out of them because they don't have access to these new cards. I think that's a really cool concept. I think if it's done right, and it's going to take some tweaking and balancing, I'm sure. As always, they have now launched a brand new system to go with this new update. I'm excited to try it for real. Like, I'm excited to try the Trials of Tribute card game. As a collectible card game guy, it's fucking cool. Like, it's fucking cool. I'm pretty excited. So the last thing here, I have a few things that don't really fit into any of the other categories, but they're things that they mentioned, and I think they're things that are neat. So I wanted to kind of to mention them here to you guys, because the first one is something that I have seen or heard about previously, but have never gotten the chance to really explore myself, and that is multi-rider mounts. So they had one apparently that was a Daedric Spider, I believe is what they called it. They are trying to release another one, and it is a draft horse that you and your companions can both ride. That this one is triggered and developed specifically with your companion in mind. The horse is making its debut in the PTS this Monday. Now, they didn't specify when that was coming to the full server, if it was coming to the full server. The fact that it has been announced and they are tweaking it actively in the PTS means that I expect to see it in the game sooner rather than later, optimistically. That's what I'm going with. And the last thing that they mentioned, the last thing I was able to see that they mentioned was that they debuted at least one new house, and it was called the Sea Vale Spire. It's aquatic themed. Obviously, you catch the drift here. They didn't. I don't remember if they gave a crown price on the house or how to earn the house, but it was a neat looking design, looked really cool, and really kind of tied in the whole theme if you're a house hunter and enjoy decorating houses and things like that, which I know there's a lot of people that do, and I respect that. I have not gotten to that element yet. That said, I look forward to hopefully getting there at some point sooner rather than later. But yeah, all of those things, they mentioned there was also going to be some quality of life updates, things of that nature. They're roughly 20 to 30 pages of patch notes for update 33 and the first DLC. So that's a fair amount of shit that they're going to tweak and change. But they said there's not as much changing so much as there's just some balancing and tweaking. All of those things are coming. After watching this reveal, I am excited for the next year of ESO. I am ready and down to keep playing and building both the community and my character and everything else, because it is just an enjoyable game. And I hope that you guys are ready to come along for the ride. So 2022 is shaping up nice for ESO. Did you watch the reveal trailer? That's my first question. And if you did, what did you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments section, because I would like to know what you think, or what was your favorite part of the reveal. If you loved it or hated it, and why. Just because I think hearing some community feedback would be kind of cool, especially maybe from some longer term players that may have been around for a while and may or may not like the direction that some of these year-long stories are taking. That's going to wrap this kind of reveal info drop, if you will. I don't know what to call it. This is the first one like this I've ever done, so I don't really know what the fuck to call this thing. If you haven't done so already, please consider giving us a subscribe and a thumbs up here on the YouTubes, or a follow and a subscribe on the Facebooks. Both of those things would be graciously appreciated. A share would also be awesome. It would be super awesome, actually. I would appreciate that more than probably anything else, if I'm being brutally honest. We also have the Discord, Coalition of Madmen. All of those links are in the description above. We'd love to have you there to hang out, because we literally make fun of each other, bullshit, play games, and it's just a good time. So all that said, but I hope this reveal recap really kind of gets you ready for the next section of ESO, and I hope to see you guys in Tamriel. Until next time, I am the Offensive Madman, reminding you once again that if words offend you, you can fuck off.